Show us your tips. Pro Group Racing, Daggy and Beaver back for a Saturday preview. Magic Millions is in the books, Beaver. Did you take anything out of yesterday?
Done and dusted. Track come up a lot better than I thought it would. It really probably changed my view after seeing that.
Probably a lesson for sticking with your original thoughts, wasn't it?
I certainly changed horses like King of Sparta on the day, and it won well. Once I saw the way the track was playing earlier, I thought this is just going to be set up perfect for it. Impressive winner of the Millions, unbeaten. Was pretty good.
A few Sydney bubbles bursting there, which is nice.
Yes, a few Sydney bubbles bursting there. But overall, it was probably a reasonably good meet for him. The track was played fair and gave every horse an opportunity.
Yeah, I think ultimately a lot of the ones we would have mentioned on the Saturday preview for the better track came through, which, anyway, I was able to sort of navigate the day and came out in front.
Yeah, Brookspire won, which was a nice win. What else was there?
Had the Quinella in the staying race, so I took that. That was about it.
Yes,
we did mention. Right. I think we did mention Centerfire on the Saturday, but we didn't touch on it so much Thursday night. But anyway, it was a good day's racing. I don't know what you really take. Everyone goes back to where they came from, and it doesn't really mean much form-wise, does it? So.
No, it doesn't mean a lot form-wise. You'll find a few come out of it, and there'll be a few improvers.
I think that Skirt Law is a good horse, though, so happy to stick with it.
Yes.
We see that come down, but we've got Randwick to talk about now, I suppose. We'll move on and get to Randwick and the Valley for the 21st of January. We'll head to Randwick first, where the rail moves to the 4 metre mark. They missed a lot of the rain Western Sydney got, I understand, so it will be, I'd say it'll be a good track by the time we get there. Soft at the moment. What you see is what you get.
Yep.
Don't think there's too many tricks there. We kick off with the 2-year-olds over 1,000 metres. Most of this field is on debut. Have you had a look at any of these trials?
Yeah, look, they are mostly on debut here, and I thought that probably close to the best of the trialists was the Baker-trained Rockabilly Rebel. Really liked its trials. It's won comfortably in all of them. Looks to have a bit of pace about it. Gate 14, hopefully, is not too much of a problem for it, but I had it on top, and I thought maybe one of the main dangers was Don Corleone from the Snowden stable. Thought its trials have been pretty fair as well, not pushed out, and could run well.
I agree. Rockabilly's Rebels, both trials are fantastic. Much better trials than Steel City, who acquitted itself okay last week, sitting outside lead, but clearly trialled better than it. I've got it on top as well. I thought at the price, I had second pick Mojave Desert. Was in a couple of times last time in. Trials are good there. I've loved the trial this time in. Just hit the line really strongly, and it's 20s, and I had next best Fleetwood. But starting the day with the Baker 2-year-old, I agree there. It's a nice horse. I guess we're on the path of the slipper, so we'll learn more after that. The Midway over the mile, benchmark 72, comes up next. We're just checking the scratchings. Look, I've got the favourite on top, Crafty Eagle. Hasn't beaten a lot just yet, but has been pretty impressive each time it's stepped out. I think mile suits, Randwick will suit, and meets a well-exposed Midway. I think it runs well here. From Love the Invasion, who was pretty good first up, stuck back to the inside, probably settles a little bit further forward this time in. And a horse like Ricochet at the 40s, I'll throw into exotics. Probably the best setup race it's been in for a while, but I think this favourite will run well here. Beaver, what are your thoughts?
I thought the same. I thought it would run well. It's got the best form of these. Yeah, you might. You did make the comment that its wins you weren't quite sure about the company, but I don't think this is great company either. These are horses that have pretty much struggled in these types of races over recent times, so it'll only need to run up to those runs to probably take care of these and gets the right draw, and decent trainer can run well.
Lovely. The Highway's third on the card, 1,100 metres, Class 2. Have you had a look at this field? This looks like actually a pretty good Highway. I'm not a Highway player necessarily, but there's some talented, lightly raced horses in this.
Yeah, there is, and that's why I've gone for the lightly raced Mojo Magic that's had its 2 starts for 2 wins. Both have been good. They've both been by spaces. one at Wagga, one at Sapphire Coast, and has also trialled well at and won convincingly in trial since at Kembla, so tuned up for this. This might have a little bit of ability, and I expect it to win this.
Beauty. The fourth, in fact, is a 2,000 metre benchmark 88, where I thought that lead-up run at race was rubbish before the race. It sort of didn't do much to change my opinion. So I was looking for different form heading here, and I thought it was hard to miss the first up run of Almania. Hitting the line really strongly behind Jojo was a man. Ducking back to the inside, gets on a bit of a track with cut out of it, gets Jay Collett, swooping barrier. I think it's going to run well around the $9 mark. And Mr. Dependable has had 2 tickovers to warm up, and then a trial since where it's trialled quite well. Tim Clark on a leader in a race where, as I said, I think a few of these are sus, and it's 20s. They're the 2 I'm going to play, and pretty keen I'll be given a nice sight here. Beaver, what do you make of this?
Nice pick up there. I've thought similar around the previous races, and that's why I went for Tony B, just outside of that. Thought its third last start was a good one. Came from back in the field, so assuming they can run on here. And even prior to that, it was only a couple of lengths off Too Much Caviar in a race where they really couldn't come from back of the field. Doesn't win often, but it's been consistent of late, and at the $6 thought it could run well.
Cool. The fifth is 1,100 metre benchmark 72. Again, a good little race of some fresh horses. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the favourite, Passaggiata. I tipped it last start, and it took care of a pretty good horse in Narito. I think it'll be further improved for this, and I think this has got a bit of potential with natural progressions. I thought but I did think Baroque Road could run well fresh. Won its maiden first start really good. Bit of a few excuses second start, and then they spelled it. So I think it could bounce back here.
I'm sticking with Passaggiata as well. Nice enough win. It'll bounce out in front again. Sting out's no problem. Probably slightly better conditions make it easier for it. So I think it's going to give you a great sight in front. I went looking for, and I will save on Back Rower as a horse I had an opinion of last prep. Did cross the line. Probably should have beaten Manzois first up last time in. Then won well, has trialled well for this. And I've got no issue backing Brett Preble in Sydney. I think he's going to do all right this time up here. So they're the 2 key chances for me. Obviously scared of a couple of others coming from Canterbury, but I was happy to oppose them in this case. The listed Carrington Stakes is next on the card over the 1,400 metres, where I think flying Looks Like Elvis is flying. I think that was a great run, chasing corner pocket, sitting wide at Flemington. Has come back up here, as I said, gets Brett Preble, and I think runs well here from Titanium Power, who I went looking for next. I didn't think it'll come up favourite, and maybe rightfully so, but now there's a bit of company on speed with Frenelli up there, so was looking for the swooper, and Looks Like Elvis. I think it's a great run, and I think it's going to be very hard to beat here, Beaver.
Yeah, I thought similarly. I thought first 2 runs in this time have been very good. It's obviously the best horse in this race, so I think it can run extremely well here, gets the right run. I think its fitness just gave out a little bit last start, and it was ridden a bit closer. There'll be a natural improvement there. It'll be hardest to beat.
Cool. Pretty clear. Nothing else to add? All right. The quaddie kicks off with the benchmark 78 over the mile. Can you add something here? Because this race left me a little bit stumped.
Yeah, look, I can. I've stuck with Banana Queen. I think it just keeps getting better with each run. It sat 3 wide last start, and in the run, I thought it was no chance. And it just got to the centre of the track and still let down quite nicely. I think here from the inside gate gets the sit behind the speed. Won't be, I think the 1,600 now suits. And this is a very winnable race. There'll probably be a little bit of pace here. I'm quite keen it can run well.
No, cool. I sort of wanted to find it. I just was a little bit concerned inside gate there. I'm jumping off Electrica finally, so it's probably a good thing here. But I've had enough of it, being unlucky all prep. So, actually, on top for me, perhaps clutching at straws is Nothing Sweet About Me. Just over-raced and just got completely spat out at Gosford. Forgiving that, back to Randwick where it runs well and ran well first up. Josh Parr outside gate gets a bit of control. I'll give it one more crack at double figures. I don't particularly like the race if you haven't noticed, so maybe Beaver's the one to follow there. Race 8 is a 1400 metre benchmark 78 again. We're a bit keener. I think I was keen on Kanazawa last time in, and I'm just as keen here. I think this is almost a weaker race. Gets absolute perfect run here on the map, just sitting behind the 2 leaders. Should peel out about the 400 and run away and win again. Keen it's going to... And Dylan Gibbon, it gets Dylan Gibbon, so happy days. When I look through some of the dangers, Kettle Hill's going to be back last because that's where the Australian bloodstock horses always end up from those barriers. And Frumos needed every bit of Nash to lift it over the line last time. So everything else in this race left me a little bit cold. I had the main danger is the import Tarzarol, who actually trialled quite nicely and looks a nice mover. But perfect race for Kanazawa again, I think.
Yeah, I've just flipped him off on for Tarzarol just at the price. I thought it could run well. I didn't mind the trial. Might be a bit short of its best 1400 here, but I thought as long as there's a little bit of pace on and it gets the right sit in gate 3, it could run well. But the main danger is definitely Kanazawa. I had a similar view with Kettle Hill. Probably gets too far back. Just sort of plotted last start a bit. Might be improved, and for Mosh, you're right. Just not something I can get too excited about. Just one last start.
Beautiful. The 9th is over the mile, benchmark 88, where, look, I think I'm going to stick with the leader here in Star Sparks. Ran pretty well first up, just gassed out there. Tim Clark going great guns at the moment. He will bounce forward in this. Fitter gets control, and there's not a great deal of chases here. Main danger Bazooka, who did win last time, and goes Alan Hennessy to Dylan Gibbons, which tick for me. So they're the 2 main ones. I'll entertain perhaps even throwing Akihiro into the quaddie, actually. It was going all right up in Queensland, but not a deep race by any means, Beaver.
I had exactly the same views as you, mate. I had Star Sparks on top. I think it can be improved, get control here, and be hardest to catch. So can run well, and Bazooka did knock it off last start, so I think it can be the one chasing. But they were my picks. Star Sparks with the Bazooka save.
Good stuff. The 10th is 1100 metre benchmark 78. How are you coming home?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Narito. Thought its first up run was very good behind a really good horse. Chased hard, didn't shirk its task. I think there'll be some improvement with that run under its belt. I think this horse has a bit of ability. The only danger is the favourite, Kari. It was very good last start. First up, finished off very nicely. That was a good run. But I'm just going to go for Narito here just to get the jump on it.
Yep, copy and paste from me. Two hopes, 2.5, but 2 main hopes. Narito, you've covered off from Po Kari, who flew first step. I thought Stromboli was the forgotten horse by the market at about 20s, goes into the quaddie, but they're the 3 that will do so. Not much to add there. Speaking of the quaddie, I suppose I better throw one out at Randwick. We'll start with first leg 1, Nothing Sweet About Me, 5, Banana Queen, 7, Lekvate, 10, Electra, 11, Sweet Mercy. Second leg 1, Kanazawa, 6, Tarzarol. That'll do us. Third leg 4, Max Schnell, 7, Star Sparks, 10, Akihiro, 11, Bazooka. Yeah, Buggerball French. And we'll come home with 10, Stromboli, 11, Po Kari, and 16, Narito. At Randwick, my best is race 8, number 1, Kanazawa, and I'll make my value race 4, number 5, Almania. What have you got for us there, Beaver? You're on mute, bud.
My best is race 7, number 5, Banana Queen. I think it can run well. And my value bet is race 4, number 9, Tony B.
Lovely. Big shout out to everyone who doesn't usually watch a midweek show, so doesn't usually get the pleasure of listening to Beaver's missus make breakfast every Wednesday morning, but they've experienced it now. as we head to the Valley for the Melbourne meeting on the card, where the rail's in the true. Been some rain during the week, but this will be good. Plenty of heat around there, so this track should be fine. Probably looking for swoopers by the end of it. We kick off with the 2-year-olds over the 1,200 metres. Beaver, you had a look at these triallers.
Yeah, this is a tricky affair. I do think this card with Moody Valley, before we get into it, probably sets up for a lot of the horses that are well in the market here with form. So that's
were you
most
surprised seeing a benchmark 64 on a Saturday at Moody Valley?
Yeah, it was a bit.
This was an average card. This was in 370s. It was a very average card.
Yeah,
I don't
it was
know
an
if
average card.
Big Australia Day meeting or something ahead, but yeah,
could well
disappointing.
be.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, coming back to the 2-year-olds here, I did probably narrow it down to the main two in the market here, International and some people call me. I have led just to International just from the 2-gate car and Cummings. I think it might jump on speed here and be hard to beat.
Yeah, I've got it on too. I thought the trials were quite nice. I had this danger as the stablemate, Amur, who we had a bit of a feel for going in and won well at the track and distance, and Ollie Stick, so don't know why it couldn't do the same. But yeah, I've got Godolphin from Godolphin in the first. The second is 1,000-metre benchmark 78, where keen on the favourite. Unflinching's been pretty good both times in to date. Chased a good one in Inundation, then chased very hard with a big task at Sandown. Comes here, should bounce back on the pace here, and Amy McLucas seems to ride a winner every Saturday in the highways in Sydney, so have no problem backing her down there. Hard to beat in an average race, Beaver.
Yeah, I thought the same gate too, right up its alley and gets the 3 kilo claim here. So drops 5 kilos on last starts. Pretty good run. So rightly so favourite, and I'll be looking for it to kick off the day.
The third is again over the 1,000, again a benchmark 70 level. Do you like anything here?
Yeah, tough race, pretty open race here. I've stuck with Coattail, the favourite. I just think this is a real drop in grade from its last few starts. It won very nicely first up at Cranbourne and then went to Flemington and sat on pace there and finished less than a length behind them, which I thought was a really nice run. Then went to the Valley. She dances absolutely brain, and then you had to be on pace. It got back in the field. And really wasn't much of a chance there. This is much weaker company, 2 kilo claim, gate 5. I think it can win.
Yeah, wouldn't argue that point. I have got Bella Sorolina on top. Ethan Brown is riding quite well at the moment. Did come through, not a lot this prep, but I think it's progressive and gets a cosy enough run there. Scared of Cattell, and I think Joselenko's going quite well at the moment. Daniel Moore will be the swooper if that's the way it's playing, but just left me a bit cold last time in Cattell. Might be a good thing though. So looking for lightly raced. The Mar Eustace stable, are they going any good at the moment? It feels like they're not. Not as good as what they were going, and that's a little bit of a concern for me because kind of when they were going so good, I started jumping on some of the horses in most recent time, and I think they've been a bit disappointing. Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on there, but seem to have taken off just a little bit.
Yeah, that's perhaps my concern, actually, the more I think about it.
Maybe
Anyway.
just some of the other stables like Moody and that are going so well, boosting their stocks that they're knocking Mar and Eustace off now. And maybe there's a bit of a shift there.
Yeah. The fourth, 1,500 metre benchmark 70 comes up next. Who do you like here?
Yeah, look, this is another tough little race, and I've stuck with Shuffle Dancer really based on the fact that it beats the second favourite here by, I think, about 5 lengths a couple of starts back, and then followed that up with a nice second last start in pretty good company at Flemington, and ran on and hit the line really well there. I think here, gate 4 is perfect. It can get a good run, and as we just said, Moody's flying. So I've got it on top against probably, for the moment, who backed up its first up run with a nice win last start. So there's obviously some improvement there. So can close the gap on Shuffle Dancer. Just can it close it by that distance? We will see.
Yeah, I've got Shuffle Dancer clearly on top. You've covered that well. Was just given an impossible task behind Road to Arataki last time, chasing it down and had a red-hot crack at it before that, won very well. So I think that sets up perfectly for this. Very hard to beat here. The fifth is a benchmark 78, 20-40 metres, where I'm going to put... what am I doing here? Chanton Burge on top, actually, in fact, is what I've done here. I've just had enough of the nephew. Chanton Burge on top, Ollie, roll forward and lead from a stable that can keep him up and going right through preps, honest, and he's going to give you a nice each-way side here. From Aaron Bay, which was a weird run last time, and the more I think about it, maybe just wanted 2,000 metres. It took forever to wind up and ended up hitting the line eventually, and maybe 2,000 metres suits. Gate 10... hopefully with the apprentice on, the idea is to roll forward and sit outside lead there. I think those two can control it. And that's why I'm playing the race. What about you?
Yeah, same with me. The nephew, I'm done with it. I've gone for 8, no deal done. I'm going to give it its last chance here. It comes back from Sydney, which I think it ran quite a nice race there, got well back in the field, and again finished off nicely in what was a leader-dominated race. They just kept kicking over the 2,000, so it's had that run now over the 2,000. But prior to that, it was very close up behind Right You Are, who's flying at the moment. And then in its earlier races, it was in decent company as well behind the likes of French Emperor and El Redonte. So I think it gets its perfect chance to win a race tomorrow, and I've got it on top.
The 6 is the 1,200 metre benchmark 64, where we see, midweek land on a Saturday. I believe Anilla is in this afternoon at Flemington. And, of course, you can check out progretracing.com.au for Beaver's thoughts on Flemington this afternoon. Isn't that right, Beaver? But
Yep, you will get a couple of tips there from me.
What do you like here, though? And I haven't seen if it's come out today. So, but apart from that, what do you like?
Yeah, look, I kind of started doing the form around Ice Picnic here, and I started to... A lot of these horses have had recent start wins and started looking and diving deep into it, and they are very much country provincial wins, which brought me back to Ice Picnic. I know it's carrying the 62 kilos here, but it's only around about 6 kilos above the minimum. So not too far away, and it ran less than 2 lengths behind what's a pretty good horse in River Noir last start. So I think it gets its chance here. It had some good form prior to this in previous spells. It's slightly raced. Tomorrow is its day.
Keen on one here. Keen on one. The Sydney form, Vientiane. It's 20-1. It's blue colours coming down from Sydney midweek racing, which is stronger than this. Gets Blake Shin, has had a trial since around Flemington, this way of going, and I think it runs well here. This is an average race. And as I said, right now I can see the best part of 20s. It's on top from Anilla, who lightly raced, progressive and fresh, and just looking completely away from that. Hong Bao over from Adelaide, next best, around the $8 mark. Vongaleo going my quaddie. Keen that the blue colour is going to run very well here.
You sound keen, Daddy.
Have I mentioned that?
Yes.
Yeah, there's too many keens on this show, so I'll drop that phrase for the rest of the day. The 7th is the strongest race on the card, 1,200 metre benchmark 84. Who do you like here?
Yeah, another one of those races like the last one. You sort of dig through the form here trying to look for something, but the ones down the bottom here just really don't offer anything to kind of find a reason why they can win. There's only 2 horses under the double figure odds, and they look to be the 2 that have between them. Pretty hard to go past Dance to Dubai's last start win at the Valley. It just took care of him quite comfortably, jumped on pace and just ran away from him. A similar field here. Does jump a bit in distance, but does get some weight relief here, drawn 4. Jumps on pace. Can they get past it? I don't think so.
No. As I've said previously, when they win like they did last time out, strong through the line, come back to the scene of the crime, stick with them. $2, what is it? $2.80, $2.90. Great bet. Sticking with it. I've got the main. Well, I've got the next chance as Après Lemo, who's just going to bob along on speed, and he's quite honest. But with the South Australian horse coming out, I don't think there's any other dangers here at the moment. So, yep, sticking with Dance Due to Buy. The 8th over the mile is the Benchmark 100. I tell you that this is the highest rated race on the card. I've got Corner Pocket on top in this race, like what did last time out. Through what I think is quite a strong race. Gate 1 does leave me nervous at the Valley, but hopefully this can be forward enough for it to just sit straight on leader's back and only has to get even luck, and should win this actually. Keen, it's the best horse. It's a borderline group horse, and I know there's some honest horses in this race, but they're coming through slightly weaker stuff. The market's Corner Pocket on top. The market's in the right order after it. I think Savannah Cloud then Pounding next best, but pretty keen actually at the price. I wasn't allowed to say that word.
Yeah, same. You know, you're right. Same. I thought Corner Pocket sets up nicely here to run well. Gets in at the 59 kilos, so that pulls a few kilos back here. Thomas Stuckdale's not the worst going around of the apprentices. I thought the one gate wasn't a bad draw. I think it can probably just jump in behind him and set up nicely here. I'm keen as well, and I've got it on top, and I think you're right, the market's good behind it, but I thought it'd be a bit tighter in the market than
I agree.
Than that.
I just assumed to be favourite, to be honest.
I certainly can't understand why Winnemic is shorter in the market than it, but I guess she gets kept in the market for some consistency without winning.
Don't question it, just take the price, I suppose.
That's it.
The last is the mile Benchmark 70. Look, not overly keen, or not overly enthusiastic, let's say. I need a new word now. But I'm a Shelby, was just grabbed late at Flemington. I think it's quite honest, was going well. Sets up on pace here around the double figure mark. We'll give you a nice sight from the lightly race Shock 'em Over. That was it did some nice things last prep. And if it comes back, gets the Swoopers gate here, I think can run well again. Unbeaten, obviously, but I think it's a talented horse, and they're the two I'm going to play. I don't have a lot more to talk about in a tricky way to finish the day, Beaver.
Yeah, it is a tricky race to finish the day. I was hoping it would be a Swoopers race, and for that reason I went for 3 and 4 pence. I thought its first up run was good. It was a Swoopers race and finished off nicely. And I think it'll get some natural improvement out of that. I think the 3 gate probably allows it to get into the running line here. Had plenty of chances, but has done well second up. I agree, Shock 'em Over can run well again. It's had the 2 starts before spelled and comes back here. It can also run well, but a pretty open race.
Cool. Do you want to give us your quaddie for Moonee Valley?
Yeah, mate, I'll give you my quaddie for Moonee Valley. I'm going race 6, first leg, number 1, Harpen, number 2, Ice Pick Nick, number 3, Lord Paramount, and number 10, Vientine. Can't pick that out for you. The next race, number 2, Bill the Boxer, number 5, Sacred Palace, number 8, Dance to Dubai. In the third leg, race 8, I've gone number 2, Corner Pocket, number 3, Sosibon, number 6, Savannah Cloud, number 11, Pounding.
Is all forgiven with Sosibon now, is it?
No, it's not all forgiven, but I'd just be kicking if it was a good win last start. So yeah. Sometimes when a horse like that gets on wins a race, they continue to go all right. Mm-hmm. And to finish the day, I'm going to go number 7, Euro Dandy, 8, Shock 'em Over, number 12, Teaser, and number 13, 3 and 4 pence.
Lovely. Your best in value?
Yeah, my value bet comes up in race 9, number 13, 3 and 4 pence. I think it can run well at good value. And my best bet of the day comes up in race 4, number 6, Shuffle Dancer.
My best of the day is race 4, number 6, Shuffle Dancer, and you can probably guess my value. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. Race 6, number 10, Vientiane, runs well. What's going on in Queensland? Anything up there?
Gone up for a look here at Doomben. I've got a few picks for the folk out there. Race 2, number 2, Zarina Sophia. I think it can run well. Moving on to race 4, number 3, Ashgrove. Race 5, number 12, the resuming Goliath, I think it can run well. And race 6, number 3, Wahira Falls.
Cool. Over at Gawler, a couple. Race 6, number 4, East Indiaman. Race 7, number 5, Rebel Lee. And one just for the night, for bedtime at Ascot there. Race 8, number 10, Velvet Queen. Racing quite well. Anything else, Beaver?
Mate, that's it. Good luck, good punting. Enjoy your weekend.
Can't finish any better. Catch you soon, punters. Bye-bye.